So I'm not gonna try out.
Okay, yeah, okay, well, thanks for. Yeah, I think it'll be fun, probably my last hurrah.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it.
I know.
We always
I
had
think
it-
the
we
last
always
time I
had
get
a
a
good
school,
time.
it's the last time I'm gonna get this.
All right, we're gonna start our morning workshop. I want to welcome everyone to the Ramsey County Board Workshop. So today's workshop topic is the American Rescue Plan Act update. A courtesy reminder that this board workshop is recorded and is live streamed on Zoom webinar. We have a hard stop at 12 o'clock. So we're gonna hold questions until the end. Commissioner McGuire.
I know we are.
Okay. So there will be no votes taken during this workshop. So let's start with the introduction of commissioners and presenters around the table, and then we'll do the rest of the room. I am Commissioner Rena Moran, District 4.
I am Commissioner Tara Jevons Singh from District 1.
I'm Mary Jo McGuire, Commissioner District 2.
Raphael Ortega, District 5.
By Chog Shog, Commissioner of District 6.
Kelly Miller, Commissioner District 7.
And I'm Rachel Molinar, Planning Manager in the County Manager's Office. Christy Cubs, Workforce Solutions Planning Specialist.
Patrice O'Neill, Director of Workforce Solutions.
Lingbecker, County Manager.
Nolan Gates, Public Secretary.
Right here in the pink.
Hi, I'm Tanisha Evans. I'm in Pathways Program.
Hi, Alsha Herman, I'm in the Pathway Program and the Financial Worker.
Tabitha Lee, Clerk 3, in the Pathway Program as well.
Melissa Perez, Health Education Program Assistant in the Pathways Program.
Tina Curry, Director of the Public Health Care Pathways Program.
Maurice Robbie, the Service Chief of Staff. Alex Confett, Interim Deputy County Manager for Health and Wellness.
Dave Zaffron, Policy and Planning.
Garrison McMartyr, Commissioner-elect.
Karen Francois, Deputy County Manager for Information and Public Records.
Elijah Norris Holiday, Youth Justice Transformation Planning Manager for Safety and Justice.
Michelle Bellis, Planning Manager, Workforce Solutions. Dana DeMaster, Innovation and Strategy in Health and Wellness. Kim Hansen, Planning and Evaluation Analyst, currently working in Finance, CED, and Health and Wellness. Laura Reyes, Deputy County Manager for Safety and Justice Services. Lindsay Leonard, Policy and Planning.
Right, so welcome everyone. Today we'll be reviewing the workforce programs that were created with the County American Rescue Plan Act investments, both for our residents and for our own employees. The ARPA funds have allowed the county to innovate and try new practices to improve the outcome for folks wanting to take the next step in their careers. We will be reviewing both the county workshop investments and the public health career pathway programs, reviewing how the programs have gone to date and the lessons we have learned and would take into work beyond the ARPA dollars. Thank you for being here today. And now I will pass it over to, you see? Yeah. Thomas?
No,
Oh,
sorry.
Patrice, sorry.
Okay, I'm like, I know you're not.
No,
Okay, thank
that's
you.
okay. Yeah. DCM Collins is with her kids this morning, so you got me. Good morning, Commissioner Ortega, Chair Moran, Commissioners, and County Manager Becker. My name is Patrice O'Neill. I'm the new Workforce Solutions Director. I began my role at the top of the year here, and so much of the work today that we'll be sharing with you predates me. However, in my previous role in suburban North Hennepin, I had the opportunity to lead ARPA and CARES funding investments for workforce programs. So this is not unfamiliar work to me. Today, we're going to have an opportunity to share with you a little bit more about our ARPA funded programming. And we're really excited to be able to highlight additionally our partnership with the city of St. Paul and the leveraged ARPA dollars that we had to really launch new and innovative and creative programming for youth in the community. Much of the work that we have done has prioritized responding to the employment and economic needs of residents during the pandemic. And so That's what we'll be highlighting today. To present with you, or to you today, I have two of my colleagues here who I will let introduce themselves.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Rachel Molnar. I'm a planning manager now in the county manager's office, but previously in Workforce Solutions.
Christy Cobbs, I'm a planning specialist in Workforce Solutions.
All right. So I think we'll get started. We already did introductions. Yep. So we just wanted to give a little bit of background and some reminders as we talk about sort of where things were at when we did our ARPA investments in workforce. So as we talked about, the pandemic is somewhat in our rearview mirror, and so it's easy to forget the disproportionate economic impact that the pandemic had on our diverse communities. So on this slide on the left-hand side, you'll see a chart that illustrates the unemployment rate for the city of St. Paul, for Ramsey County, as compared to the metro and the state numbers. You'll see that during the height of the pandemic, the city of St. Paul had the highest unemployment rate, followed by the county, and those disparities persisted as our economy sort of started to bounce back in late 2020 and into 2021. On the right, you'll see a chart that really grounded our team as we talked about, where we wanted to make investments and design programming. So the orange bars, what you're seeing is the percentage of that population in our pre-COVID labor force. And the blue bars are the total percentage of the COVID-19 unemployment applications. So I think most starkly, if you look at that BIPOC line, 27% of our pre-COVID labor force identified as BIPOC. And as of February of 2021, 49% of the folks who had applied for unemployment in our community identified as BIPOC. So in response to what we were seeing in our labor market at the time, the Workforce Solutions community workforce investments were categorized as tier 1 investments to support our residents who were in immediate need. As a reminder, we made these investments into 3 large buckets of work. The first being learn and earn models that we'll talk more about today. The second being how we do barrier removal, specifically for folks seeking employment, primarily our driver's license academy. And then our third investment is really into supporting and aligning our broader youth and young adult employment ecosystem through a coalition that we call YouthWorks. So just as a quick reminder, one of the first county ARPA investments that we made was in the summer of 2021, and that was with our Right Track Plus program. I think folks around the table are familiar with Right Track, which is the city's Right Track program in St. Paul, or the city's summer internship program. And what Right Track Plus was a summer opportunity program for young adults ages 18 to 24, again, in summer of 2021. This really deepened our partnership with the city, and we began meeting and working regularly with the Right Track team. The program provided paid summer internships and career exploration events over the summer. This group of young people, or many young people who had been disconnected from school and career exploration opportunities in sort of the peak pandemic in 2020. The program also helped to support our local businesses by providing them with interns to help fill their workforce gaps at a time when many could not afford to hire additional staff. This really began sort of that deepening of our relationship with the city of St. Paul and their Right Track team, and set the stage for what our investments continued in 2022. So Right Track Plus was made possible with the support of 20+ community partners. They helped us recruit young people. They helped provide case management and support services over the summer. And throughout the course of the summer, we had over 200 young adults complete internships at 94 different employer partners. And we hosted 32 career exploration professional development events in the community. So folks can go and read this later. I will say we did survey all the young people. So if folks have additional questions or want to see results of all the intern surveys from 2021, we'd be happy to provide those. So then as Right Track Plus wrapped up, our team in partnership with the Right Track team at the city began looking at what additional gaps existed and how could we leverage ARPA both to fill gaps in the short term for youth and young adults, but also how do we build out a better system in the long term. Because of that strong partnership and collaboration with St. Paul and sort of the background of the Workforce Innovation Joint Powers Agreement, St. Paul actually approached us with a request to invest a portion of their ARPA funds into youth and young adult workforce programs that the county had already identified that we wanted to invest in. So as a reminder, the county invested about $8.2 million of the county's ARPA funds into this larger bucket The city passed along $9.8 million of their ARPA funds to us to administer for a total investment of slightly over $18 million. These funds have supported 9 different sort of programs or focus areas. Because of time today, we can't talk about all 9 of those, but we'll review a few of those programs. So we just really want to acknowledge our partners in this space. This is a snapshot of all of the partners who we have contracted or vendored with over the course of the ARPA funds. And really, we could not do this work alone. Our approach in Workforce Solutions has really been that we do this work in partnership with community, and we want to be there to support the work that they're already delivering to our residents, particularly our young people. So we just really wanted to do a special thank you to all those partners.
Great, and as Rachel mentioned, the largest investment of our workforce dollars went into what we called Learn and Earn programs. So over $10 million between the city and the county was invested in these programs, as the unemployment data illustrated, where the direct impacts of our young folks were hardest hit. We heard during this time from young people that they wanted to upskill and they wanted to seek out different careers, but they weren't able to stop working their part-time minimum wage earnings to go to school and upskill. A lot of the training opportunities don't provide training stipends, so they're basically would have to stop working to attend school. Additionally, we heard during this time that employers had needs and were trying to recruit from a very talent pipeline that a lot of our young people were interested in. Many of the programs we created specifically were with unions, employers, education partners, folks that we knew there was high demand for the work right here in Ramsey County. We also, part of the Learn and Earn initiative, know that it's not just the stipends that are what participants often need. They often need additional support with childcare, transportation, other household bills. And so that was part of our Learn and Earn initiative, was building in those additional support services. In developing the Learn and Earn initiatives, our team, in partnership with Real Time Talent, identified approximately 15 different occupations that we targeted as gateway occupations. These were occupations in Ramsey County that had current opportunities or predicted growth and required only short-term training and a minimum of $42,000 a year. These trainings ended up supporting participants looking to enter into IT, healthcare, construction, and entrepreneurship, and ranged from 8 weeks to 52 weeks. Through 2024, these programs have supported 336 participants and paid over $679,000 directly to stipends and wages for participants. Most of these programs will run through 2025. Here's just some photos. This is a really fun time. Our team got to celebrate a lot of graduations and accomplishments, and you can see commissioners were also part of those celebrations. And now we're going to dive just a little deeper into one specific program, the Driver's License Academy. Just for some background, again, at the time prior to the pandemic, only 15% of teens received their driver's license or driver's education through their school, which is a drastic decline from the 1970s. At the same time, in Ramsey County, the requirement of a driver's license as listed in online job applications increased in Ramsey County by 7% between 2021 and 2023, while the volumes of job postings overall declined about 9%. So for young people, particularly those entering the workplace, a driver's license is not just about personal freedom, it's about economic opportunity and stability. So Youth Prize, which is a local youth serving organization, had been leading some work around the removal of driver's license from schools and the access barriers that presented, particularly for opportunity youth and youth from low-income families. What we saw in the post-pandemic was that there were demands for a more reliable workforce, and many of the jobs required travel or non-traditional hours when the public transportation doesn't always run. And if you think about essential industries that we invested some of our learn and earn money into, like healthcare and construction, the trades, all of those actually require a driver's license before you can even enter into some of those career fields. And so this investment was critically important to ensure that these requirements did not continue to create access barriers for young folks in our community. So just briefly, the Driver's License Academy supports young people in Ramsey County 18 to 24 who are on career pathways that require them to have a driver's license. We offer support for young people all the way from tutoring to obtain their permit through a vehicle for the road test. One thing that was new to me when I started working on this project is it has changed to get a driver's license, and everyone is required to have a permit in Minnesota regardless of how old you are. And so we offer that support to help folks obtain their permit. Additionally, the Driver's License Academy provides support and incentives for young people to reach their goals. So once they obtain their permit, they receive $25. Same with once they complete their behind the wheel, and once they get their driver's license, they receive a $50 gift card from us. And we were also able to support the expansion of 5 new third-party proctor sites in Ramsey County, which are sites in Ramsey County that young people or anyone can actually go and take their permit test. Prior to this initiative, there was one place in Ramsey County where you could take a permit. So these proctor sites are at various stages in operation. Some are site specific and only serve participants of GAP school, for example, but others are more broadly open to the community. So the funds, the impact on participants, we've had 100 young adults obtain their driver's license since the start of this program. I will say that it takes about a year on average for a young person to go through this program if they don't have their permit. Some of that is they're required to hold a permit for either 3 or 6 months before they're able to take a road test based on their age. It is during that time where we schedule the 6 hours of behind the wheel for them to practice, so they feel confident that they'll be able to pass that road test. In addition to the 116 young people, we've seen many young people make progress towards their driver's license. So maybe they came to us without a permit and now they have a permit, or they've completed their behind the wheel and are just waiting for the road test. Another unique aspect of this work is that we have 108 unique community partners that refer into the Driver's License Academy. So these are community education and training partners that see the value of driver's license as a workforce credential. I will say that 108 community partners, of that, we get a number of different referrals from different folks within Hired or Goodwill based on different programs. So the number of people that refer is higher than reflected there. And then we did receive a 2024 NACO Achievement Award for this work. And then just the impact on community, what I briefly said, by offering this structured, centralized process for obtaining a driver's license, the Academy relieves community organizations from duplicating efforts, enabling them to focus on their core missions, such as job training, mentorship, or addressing broader social determinants of health. And organizations can now refer young adults to a single reliable source for this essential workforce credential. And the academy addresses the systematic barriers of obtaining a driver's license that disproportionately affect young adults of color and those from low-income communities, including financial constraints, just the knowledge of the requirements of what's required to get a driver's license, and then navigating the administrative processes.
All right, so now we're gonna shift to talk about the sort of the biggest long-term outcome of our ARPA initiatives, which is bolstering YouthWorks, which is what we call our youth and young adult employment ecosystem here in Ramsey County. So YouthWorks was founded with community partners prior to the pandemic in an effort to better connect young people to education and economic opportunities. But ARPA has really allowed our team to invest in sort of the infrastructure that supports the YouthWorks system. The initiative goals and our core values that you can see on the screen really helped guide our team as we identified a framework for investment. You'll find those initiatives and core values in our request for proposals for this work as we went through the process. It really grounded us as we sort of developed out the programming that we funded with ARPA. We learned a number of lessons as we've sort of tried to build up some infrastructure around the system. First, that we need a coordinated system where participants are working to get where the partners in the system are working together to support residents rather than competing for resources and enrollments. There are very limited often resources in our youth employment system. And so we want partners to be able to focus on what they do best and really support their communities and take things off their plate that stretch them, like driver's license for example. If you're a employment counselor, you might only be helping someone get a driver's license twice a year. You kind of have to relearn how to do that whole thing. Now they can just refer it into a centralized system and keep focusing on what they want to focus on with that young person. That really helps our resources in that system stretch further and help meet our broader goals. At the same time, we recognize that we need to empower young people to help us build what that system looks like going forward. And so, at the same time, we can be providing information and resources to young people and to those who support them to help them learn about what opportunities exist, what are the career pathways. But we also want to be mindful that we need to be responsive to what young people tell us as well. So we have done that in a number of ways, including having young people who scored the proposals for our $10 million of Learn and Earn investments, for example. We also are very mindful that we compensate those young people for their time and for their expertise, the same as we would compensate other consultants. And so really, as we look at sort of what are the pillars of YouthWorks as a system that the county is supporting and sort of responsible for, they fall into those 5 buckets you can see on the screen. The ARPA funds have allowed us to illustrate sort of what our system needs and have allowed us to invest into what those needs are. We've been very mindful that the county's role is often to serve as the backbone organization to the system, and we are not a sole provider. We don't want to be in competition with our partners in the community who do really good work. We would much rather support our partners with the activities that they would generally not have, like funds or infrastructure to support. And so that thinking is what led to these pillars. So the first pillar is around that employer engagement. So many of our partners and our community-based organizations and schools want more meaningful connections to employers. And so in order to do that, we are leveraging ARPA funds into a large mapping project that is just getting started now to assess the current employer engagement sort of systems and connections across our youth employment system that will then develop some recommendations for how our system can do a better job working with employers, both to meet employer needs, but also to meet the needs of young people in our community. The second piece is really around connection, right? We know that relationships don't just grow out of nowhere, that we need to facilitate connections between our partners. And so to address this, our team has begun doing things like hosting regular networking events that we get, between 50 and 100 folks at twice a year. We have seen specific examples grow out of those events where two partners met at an event 2 years ago, and then now they're submitting an application with their two organizations together for something, right? Rather than submitting similar applications for similar programs where only one may get funded. We already talked about driver's license academy, but really that removing systemic barriers is really critical and allows organizations to focus on what they do best in supporting young people. We're continuing to identify other areas of barriers that our team could continue to work in that barrier removal space. Fourth is really a focus on opportunity youth. And so these are youth that have experienced homelessness or foster care or legal system. And we know that that group of young people often need additional supports to be successful. And so our team has developed a number of very specific events and opportunities and programming for that demographic of young people. But we've also begun offering like professional learning and professional development to our partners in the system to come and learn about best practices for serving youth who have experienced homelessness, for example, and created a space for that. And then finally, really thinking about what is the future of work and how do we make sure that professionals and educators across our system are aware of what the changing needs are for our future economy. So again, we know our providers are often in like the day-to-day thick of it with young people. They're not thinking about what are the skills that employers might need in 15 or 20 years down the road. And so we've begun hosting sessions to provide more information and professional learning to folks in our system to better understand what is coming in the future in our labor force. So these are just a few samples of our YouthWorks events that our team hosts. So you'll see on there Power Within Us. That's a session for youth who are on probation in Ramsey County that our team hosts every month where young folks can get connected. We have a regular practitioners meeting twice a month that if you're anyone working with young people doing anything around education or employment, you can come and join and meet a community of folks who are doing similar work. We host our networking events, as you can see the picture on the side of our team up there. And then finally, I'll just do a quick plug. We have our Get Set training, which is successful employer training. And this is a training that was informed and developed by young people in the community for employers to learn about how to be a good employer of young people. That training is actually now available on demand, so you can find it on the county's website, and folks can watch it on their own time. So we're closely tracking the outcomes and results of the programs that we've invested in. We have an additional layer of tracking that's required for our accountability to our partners at St. Paul for their portion of the funds and their investment. We utilize a number of methods of data collection, including pre and post surveys, focus groups, monthly reports from our partners. Our initial findings of the investments, particularly the Learn and Earn funds, have allowed young people to pursue occupational pathways that they otherwise would not have had access to. We are also working with our partners to collect more anecdotal stories about how our programming has benefited residents. We believe that some of the innovations that we have been able to implement with the ARPA investments are really tools for improving our existing state and federally funded workforce programs. But current policies limit the implementation of those, for example, stipends. And so we hope to continue to share what we've learned with our other governmental partners to advocate for how those programs can be adjusted to better support and increase the effectiveness of those programs and how they support young people in our community. So finally, as we continue to sort of leverage our ARPA resources into the next year and a half, we're going to continue to work with partners across our system to really build out a system that works for all the young people in our community. We currently have a core group of partners who have a large work plan, specifically around systems building that we developed when we were participants in the Department of Labor Youth Systems Building Academy this past year, and are working on a number of different tasks in that work plan to continue moving forward to a more collective system. And we are grateful for the opportunity that the ARPA funds have provided. I'll just say it's personally been really fun to come up with new things and try new things in a way that has a little more flexibility than some of our other state and federally funded programs. And so we're really grateful and we look forward to continuing the work into the future. That is our wrap up. So I don't know if there's questions in between.
Well, I am impressed with this timing and this walkthrough and a very full and thorough presentation. Really, Lucian O'Neill, you have us.
Director, yeah.
Director O'Neill, okay.
Yes, I think that concludes our portion. I'd like to invite up Tina Curry and Nolana Gates to share.
Before we
about the-
transition, should we ask questions or should we just?
Yeah, you should ask, maybe let's do the
questions
question
after.
before, yeah.
Before we
Yeah,
transition.
sure.
That we were waiting, sorry.
Yeah.
I
think
have,
this was
I have a
great.
pretty quick question, actually. So I really appreciate the fact that you were able to use these dollars in a way that will impact so many other, you were able to take the learnings from this and implement it going forward. So I think that that is truly taking advantage of rare, I want to say, like research and development dollars that come
Mhm.
into, nimble funds. So thank you for really taking advantage of that. As kind of a side thing, I'm curious, I know that there's a lot of employer engagement and employer education with our inclusive workforce, and I'm wondering when and if a driver's license is not required, sometimes that just becomes part of a rote job description that may be an unknown barrier that employers are eliminating a whole swath of really qualified candidates who may be able to navigate the transportation to and from, but it might just be part of antiquated, must lift 30 pounds and blah, 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 whatever, And I'm wondering if that has transferred into, just encouraging folks to look at their job descriptions so that they might inadvertently be creating a barrier that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I would just say, in addition to getting to and from, it also is a requirement, even if you think of our own Parks and Rec department here, like you can get to Parks and Rec on the bus, but once you get there, you have to be able to drive a Park and Rec vehicle from one place to another. So we see that from employers, as well as some of the opportunities in manufacturing or, out in the suburbs where public transportation doesn't allow access, especially maybe some of those third shifts. And so I think that's one of, there's so many factors that go into that. And we heard from young people and their parents, they're scared to get a driver's license, like they don't want to get a driver's license. So.
Well, and I will say, having family who have come here from different countries and are getting resettled, there's all the different layers to navigating the systems. And not to mention the economic barriers of having somebody who's willing to let you drive their car and has the time to be in the car with you and all of that. So I appreciate lifting up the idea of the shift in our education policies that went from all of, many of us of a certain age group experienced driver's ed in school. And now that that's something that people have been outsourced a bit. So thank you for letting us know.
Any other questions? Commissioner Zhang.
Would you speak more to the centralized support model that has been created? Is it just focused on like, for example, licensing, or like what does that infrastructure look like?
yeah, so to date, it's really been focused on driver's license, but I think that's where, we've been able to sort of test out what that looks like, right? I think the learnings that we've had from that could be applied in lots of other spaces. Again, we have a fairly fragmented, in some ways, youth employment system, often driven by the funding that comes into that system. And so, our team has had discussions over the last couple of years of what might it look like if we have a centralized system that if you're a young person, you need employment support, you just call this one number, you get, connected to someone who can then help you navigate, whether that's to a manufacturing training program, or whether it's to St. Paul College, or whether it's, to a learn and earn program, right? So we've had conversations about what that could look like into the future, for sure.
And some of the driver's license came out of like questions to our community partners, like, what do you do really well and what do you like doing and what do you need help doing? And a lot of, like Rachel said, if you're helping someone one-off get a driver's license, it can be a very time-consuming process. So that's not something that community wanted to do, and you guys had started some of that work initially, which is why I think we launched there and the need.
I would just add more broadly in kind of the workforce ecosystem, young people do face a variety of barriers that aren't just driver's license, right? So, you know, one thing that I've appreciated stepping into my new role is really understanding how we leverage those different funding sources to be able to support the individual needs of youth, young adults, and adults that we serve in workforce. And so being able to address some of those other unique needs like childcare or housing allows for us to have more individualized services and conversations in a holistic way to really respond to those additional needs beyond driver's license as well.
And then if I may, just to follow up, this is like a significant investment into this and anticipating that this funding will be done by next year. What does this look like? And also what are we hearing from our current partners right now with federal funds?
So this is a significant area of focus going into, I think, more specifically this year's legislative session. We are part of a collaborative of partners. Rachel and Christy mentioned Youth Prize that is leveraging some resources and designing a bill through a collective impact approach around that driver's license supports. We are also strategically thinking around the long-term sustainability of this Youth Works framework, knowing that ARPA has an expiration date. And so really working with our government relations team to identify what the best path forward is to leverage other state dollars and resources to be able to sustain the areas of the Youth Works framework that have been really impactful, specifically Driver's License Academy, and then the Tech Earn and Learn program as well.
Thank you.
Commissioner Miller?
Just quickly, I'll follow up with you, Ling, on one of the questions, but do we know how many students or graduates from the Earn and Learn program are like employed and that were connected to meaningful careers, right? Not just a job for short term or an internship?
We have that data and
You
we can
do?
pull it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna close out with, County Manager Becker.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank Director O'Neill and thank the workforce team. I mean, this is a lot of work, and also want to thank the supportive departments. You know, we don't deliver services without procurement, without communications, without you know, our finance team. I mean, it just takes a lot to push out this kind of money out to the community. In reference of the employer engagement work around job min quals, we have kind of another arm in Workforce Solutions that does some consultation with employers, especially ones that come to utilize our job fairs, which are free, but then we would kind of expect you to be thinking thoughtfully about how you're an inclusive employer. And then I just want to highlight the innovation and the shifting. You know, the one thing that Christy didn't mention that she was really important in helping make happen was virtual reality for driver's license as well. Like, we have immigrants who, you know, if you've grown up in this country, you've ridden in a car most of your life, even when you were first born, going home from the hospital. If you moved here, you might, you know, it could be, you know, my mom was 35 years old and she had not really been in a car that often, you know, having come from a different community. So to learn how to drive when you haven't even understood the motions of a car, how it feels, these are big barriers for immigrant communities. And to be able to have more resources, you know, it didn't make sense to put them in driver's license academy first if they weren't actually comfortable, like being in a vehicle. So, you know, lots of things to learn. But I think the last thing I want to close this particular investment is this partnership with our city. Many of you, especially Commissioner McGuire and Ortega, you have seen the journey of the city and county when it comes to workforce over the last 15 or 20 years. For the city to come and work in partnership with the county and to invest almost $10 million. It really was better government. And I think it really was a testimony of the commissioners at the time, as well as the city council and the mayor, for being able to see what was best for the community and not, you know, create a whole separate, you know, workforce department in the city. And that is a long lasting, the relationship with the city is stronger than it's ever been. And that money, you know, that will pay back in spades actually for our community. So just really want to acknowledge the partnership with the city. It hasn't always been easy. It took us a long time to sign that JPA, but it was definitely much better government, and then the community are better for it. So so thank you to all of you and all the work you've done. I know you've gone to your share of graduations,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. so I don't know if you have any more you want to say, but it was really, I will leave it to you.
No, I mean, that's one of the best part of this work is to show up, see people graduating. And they have the family there, and it just pays dividends, not just short term, but long term. But also just wanted to just comment on your leadership as a director of workforce. And under your leadership, and at this moment in time, you're able to create a vision that hopefully, we will reap even longer as a Ramsey County body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so thank you.
Well, we're at teen graduation season for the learners.
Okay.
And it's great. So if you wanna
That's
come, let our
years.
team know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, that's okay.
You can just use the arrow key.
So just introduce yourself and you can just start your presentation.
I'm Tina Curry, Director of the Public Health Career Pathways Project, and with me is
I'm Noah Lana or Noe Gates and Public Sector Pathways Coordinator for the organization.
this morning. Well, thank you, first of all, for this opportunity to update you on this exciting project. It is near and dear to our hearts. Okay, this morning we will cover why this project was created, what makes this project so very special, what we are learning, and we'll wrap up with comments from some of our participants that are here, as well as participants that are online. The Public Health Career Pathways Project is a Tier 5 investment. It's a bold investment in staff and represents a forward-thinking approach to growing and developing our workforce. The project offers a new approach to help staff grow professionally by combining education with significant financial support. As you will hear later, this project allows participants to keep working while earning their Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree or Community Health Worker certificate, which makes it easier for them to move into higher skilled county positions. Healthcare continues to face critical workforce shortages, particularly in nursing. This project is an innovative response, is a proactive response, building a pipeline of highly trained nurses and community health workers who understand the needs of their communities. By supporting staff to grow into these roles, we are addressing the ongoing shortage of nurses and community health workers. This innovative project benefits more than just the participants, though. It directly impacts the residents we serve by fostering a highly skilled and educated workforce that reflects our community. We enhance the quality of care and strengthen the connection with residents.
All right, so with the Public Health Career Pathway Program, there are two pathways. You'll see one is the registered nurse pathway, where participants are able to obtain their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. And then there's the Community Health Worker certification, where participants obtain their certification, are then prepared to help communities navigate the healthcare system. Tina kind of alluded to the structure of the program. It's pretty unique and we're very proud of it. All participants were able to work a reduced schedule, which provides the opportunity for people to focus on their studies and their coursework. And complementing that reduced schedule is a wage supplement, which is provided to cover the participants' normal work hours. An example of this is if someone worked full-time 80 hours, they're able to reduce their workload hours to 40 hours a week, which allows them to focus on coursework and be successful in that area. And the wage supplement then covers the remaining 40 hours that they would typically get. So that allows us to support our staff, investing in the professional development and really focusing on also retaining talent in the organization. And a quick shout out to the departments that employees are in for helping us make this sustainable. There's a lot of flexibility and collaboration that took place to make that happen. Additionally, there's a signed program agreement. So all participants agreed to project expectations. So things like attending classes, cohort meetings for support, seeking assistance as needed to make sure success is there, and then having effective communication and a true commitment to learning throughout the program. And lastly, there's the service commitment. So community health worker participants will commit to 1 year of service with the county after obtaining their certification. And the registered nursing participants have a commitment of 3 years of service after obtaining their nursing licensure. And we can proceed to the cohort demographics.
So the CHW participants, this group consists of entry-level women in clerk typist roles from corrections, financial assistance services, public health, health and wellness admin, and social services. They represent African American, American Indian, Hmong, and Indo-Caribbean communities. The majority are single parents with 2 or more children and are also first-generation college students. Since the program launched in 2022, I'm pleased to say 6 staff have graduated and received their community health worker certificate. We currently have 3 staff enrolled in the program now, and pictured are 2 of our participants, Latoya, who works in alternative response, and Melissa Perez, who works in corrections. On the nursing side, we have 7 women enrolled in the program. Like the CHW cohort, this group is culturally and ethnically diverse. However, only 2 participants in this cohort are in low-wage, entry-level positions. The majority work in roles such as health educator, medical assistants, or licensed practical nurse. All of the women in this cohort have a circle of support, and most of them are homeowners. So how'd we do? We did great. As you can see, these are represent some of the highlights of the program. You can read the slide. I want to save this time so that some of the participants can share their experience with you now. Okay, come on up. Oh, yeah. We have some participants online that wanted to share.
how to do that.
Hello, my name is Melissa Perez, and I'm a health education program assistant at the correctional facility, also known as the Workhouse. I started as a clerk typist in corrections. I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to listen to me as a community member, as a Ramsey County employee, and as an Indigenous woman. So, you know, I felt kind of stuck in my position, being a single mom. And one thing I've always been, though, is big on community. And so this opportunity has been able to help me kind of fulfill my purpose in life. I've always liked to help. I was going to powwows, going to any community events to support my community. So that was something I did naturally. So with the classes and the education piece behind it, it's helped me move and really hone in on the skills I've already had. So at the correctional facility, I'm able to help, as you know, in a correctional setting, people are disconnected from their family. You know, they recycle back in, they may lose their housing, they might have lost anything that they came in with. So being able to help them connect to the community resources. I've been able to network. I'm on the Racial Equity Community Engagement Action Team, helping with the Women's Judges Group. This has just really brought a lot of opportunity to me. You know, I was an MFIP recipient at one time, you know, and so I have a lot of experience, and I can relate to the community and to the clients that I work with and build that trust with them. And that's been really a big key to bridge the gaps between services and the community services that are out there to offer. And then for me, yes, it's just filled my heart. And I've been able to start a smudging group at the facility. There was no Native services out there. So able to start those things and keep those things going, because culture is a big part of health. It's good for your spirit, you know, it's good for your body. If you look into those teachings, there's so many teachings that help us guide to live a good life. And I think that's all. I'm probably missing a lot, but thank you again for taking the time to listen to this. This has just been a great opportunity for me, and it's such a blessing.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tabitha Lee. Part of the Pathway Program, I've worked for the county over 10 years in finance. Being part of the Pathway Program has been a blessing, I would say, for myself, being a single mom. and also be having the support of other team members, co-workers, and Tina and Noe in the program. I had the privilege of working an out-of-class position in public health with the public health nurses as a community healthcare worker the last past year. And being able to, utilize some of the experience that I had, and also being part of the community with children, getting in the households and helping, different, African-American, Hmong, Somali community navigate our programs and healthcare systems. Currently, I'm back in finance, and fingers crossed, I'll be in a position shortly as a health educator in public health again. I really don't know what to say. Like, it's been a blessing because being in finance over 10 years, I kind of felt stuck. And if you know, working with the county, it's kind of, you get in that pathway and you kind of, it helped me transition to a different and see, different programs and how we work together, for the community. So just, again, just blessed and thankful to have the opportunity.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elsha Herndon, and I've been with Ramsey County for 2 years now. So the career pathway has actually opened my eyes, and I've been able to hear from people about the different departments that's within Ramsey County, which I wasn't aware of. And we'll be able to do like internships, which will help me discover more about what we have in our community. And I think that will help me working with the clients, because as a financial worker, I have lots of people come in asking me about other programs and what do we have to offer in the county, and being new in it, I'm like, okay, I really don't have much to tell them besides what I Google and stuff, or like, look up in RamseyNet. But I think that this has actually gave me a lot of useful information that I can relate to my clients, and I'm able to offer knowledge and educate them on what programs we have, and bridging that gap that they might not have. A lot of these clients that I work with, they really don't have people to support them or give them the information that they need. And I feel like that's my position, and that's why I want to help them, is because I want to be the person that, they come, oh, I need this. Can you help me with this? Or can you show me, where do I get that help? And so I feel like this program has actually helped me like just learn a lot about Ramsey County that I was never aware of. So it's been nothing but great experiences, and the people that I worked with, the cohort, Tina, I really feel like I have good support there, and it's been nothing but good. So thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Tanisha Evans. I've actually worked for Ramsey County for about 24 years.
Okay.
I was a nursing assistant at Ramsey County Nursing Home / Care Center. It had closed down though in 22 and right after COVID, so it was a lot going on. And I had always wanted to pursue more nursing, get a higher nursing degree. But I was a CNA for a long time, but I enjoyed taking care of elderly and older adults. I had been trying to go to school, but I couldn't afford to keep going. So this happened, the job closed, and we were trying to get placed different places. I didn't want to leave the county. And this opportunity came, which is a blessing, just like everyone's said, and it truly is, because just when I had head credits from Century and other community colleges, and they were going to expire, and so I had stopped thinking about being a nurse until this happened. Then I'm like, okay, now my job's closing, now I have to find another thing. So it was a lot. So with this program coming into play, it really changed my life. So I get to finish, I'm sorry. It's okay. So I get to finish or pursue my dream of being a nurse and continue helping people that I wouldn't have been able to afford myself. So and being at St. Kate's,
it's like a spiritual aspect. I'm a spiritual person, so, so that's why I say it's not just luck or it's a real blessing to have this opportunity. So that's it. I just get a little emotional about it.
It's okay.
So it's really great, and I've had a lot of support from Tina and Noe, and yeah, and so it's just, I can't imagine, it, you know, I just wanna end it, and I hope it continues for other people, so.
Wow. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories. You know, it really resonated with me too about just, you know, both like the opportunity, but also like fate sometimes, right? How we're presented those opportunities. I'm curious too, how did you all hear about this program? And what led you to take the leap of faith, I guess?
For me, it was my coworker. She knew about the program. She's really like a big nerd, and she's like always looking at everything that's going on in the county. And she was like, you know, we'd hang out, go to lunch together all the time. And so she knew a lot about my life on the outside, what I do. And she's like, girl, this is for you. You do this kind of stuff for free all the time. You need to take these classes. And I was like, okay, you know, but I was kind of scared, you know, and I really didn't have the confidence in myself at that time. And she had, did you do it yet? And, you know, and she was really like on me about it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I did it. And so she was my cheerleader. And then she kind of passed that baton off to Tina. She was my cheerleader after that. But that's how I started. I would say, like, when I first started, I wasn't really confident, but this has also gave me a lot of confidence when I look at all the progress and networking and things that I've been able to achieve since I started the program.
So we have a few people online. We cannot do all of them, but I want to say, I want to thank everyone for joining us online and say congratulations for you participating in, you know, in this opportunity that came forth. But I'm going to ask at least one person. Anyone in particular? Latoya?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Latoya. First, thank you for this opportunity. You didn't have to choose me, but thank you for choosing me to speak. I'm Latoya. I work currently under Appropriate Responses as a health educator program assistant, and I've been doing that for, it'll be 2 years in May, thanks to the Pathways program. And how I found out about it, I feel like Noe had sent an email out because I've seen it and I'm like going back to school, and I was working as a clerk typist in finance, and it didn't really, I mean, I wanted the opportunity to obviously increase my salary, being a mother, just being a person in general. And then after speaking with Noah and having sitting down with her, I kind of was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then I went to the orientation. I met Tina. So fast forward, I did it. I did the program, and I had plenty of conversations with Tina where I felt like, I want to check out. But Tina was a very big mentor to me. She still is. She encouraged me. She inspired me to keep going. And I'm happy I did, because almost 3 years later, I have a job in that, working as a community health worker. I started school almost 4 weeks ago at St. Kate's again to pursue my bachelor's. I'm trying to make it quick. It's a lot. I mean, I'm just super grateful for the program. I'm super grateful for the connections I've made with Melissa, with Tabitha, Amani, some of the other ladies that I don't see here, and just building relationships with the ladies that I don't know that well. I feel like we're a family, we're connected, we're close-knit, and I probably wouldn't have met them in this way had it been for the Pathways program. And I probably wouldn't even be in the job I'm in right now at this moment hadn't it been for the Pathways program. So I'm super grateful and thankful. I'm just excited for the future. I talk fast, so I hope I did good. I hope y'all understood me.
Okay, we have like, I think maybe 5-6 minutes.
Okay, I'll take 1 minute just to say thank you all for
for being a part of this, for having the courage to really go ahead and take that leap of faith. You inspire me, for sure. The work that you're doing, it's not always easy to make that change, and I just thank you for being a part of this program and really making our community a better place. So as a St. Kate's grad, I'm excited that you're going to St. Kate's, and that's exciting for me. But just keep up your good work, and just thank you so much, and congratulations on the work that you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Mr. Jefferson.
Yes, and I just want to say the same thing as somebody who went back to school after the age of 50 to take that leap and to
Yeah.
switch gears is tremendously scary. So I appreciate that. I love the chance of the investment into our staff here at Ramsey County to see you reach all of the things that you want to do. I guess the question I have is the investment in career pathways in public health and health in general is urgent. For decades, we've known that there's going to be a drop off in our healthcare workers, and the COVID just amplified the need while we had also more people leaving. So thank you for stepping into the space where we so desperately need our workers to step into. My question is to the program in general. How many people have participated in total? Because there are little pockets of numbers that we got. And then I'm just curious what, to take this leap of faith is a big deal for an individual. What kind of commitment does the program have? Is it through a particular licensure? Is it over a number of months or years? I mean, how are we making sure to hold, our sense of investment as the program funds expire and people are engaging in the program? I'm just curious. Staff.
So like for the community health worker certification takes 9 months, and then our commitment after that is for participants to remain 1 year with an accountant, ideally in a community health worker or health educator related role.
And if, I guess my question is more on our commitment to the participants, meaning if, life happens, if for some reason there's a delay or a pause, or if other things come up, what is our commitment once somebody started the program to see them through? I'm just curious.
I can answer that. I'm sure. Thank you for that question. So if somebody has an interruption, if because life happens, we allow them to resolve that issue, whatever's going on, and then they can restart the program when they're ready.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you.
All right, the last question, and then I'll close up.
Yeah,
out.
just have a quick question, a follow-up to Commissioner Gibbonsing. So once they complete the program, is there then like a guaranteed employment spot for them while they're going through this class or while they're going through their cohort?
So that's been one of the challenges that we're working on now. So we try to identify positions so that when they graduate, there will be that opportunity that they can apply for. That was something we didn't do early on, so we corrected for that going forward.
Okay, thank you.
And what's the total
What?
participation?
The total
What are the number of
participation,
total people you've had?
Can you Can you get that number to us? That'd be awesome. So this has been really, really a good workshop. I really do appreciate the check back in so we can some more lessons and see what we are doing. To all the participants with the pathway, the career pathways, congratulations for stepping up and stepping into this. Kudos to Ramsey County for creating this. I think sometimes that the data will give us a direction that we need to go to support women, single mothers, because you're often taking care of the household, right? It can become a 2-generational impact. And so kudos for Ramsey County seeing this need and creating this opportunity for current employees here at Ramsey County. So there are some learned lessons, this innovation, recognizing and addressing the barriers was really, we heard it, we see it, investing in nurses and community health workers. I want to know more. I will be asking more. And the investment that we've put into staff around professional development. We know how key that is, especially for those low-level workers that you aspire to get more educational, to get more training. But there's a cost associated with that, and we was able to fill in that gap. So and it could be life-changing, that we heard from everyone. It's a life-changing moment. And as we close and look at the ARPA dollars that we spent, how much, what total ARPA dollars came from the county and state? That was a total of like, what, almost 18 million or so?
Or for, you mean
For-
for all of our ARPA?
Yes.
It's 108, 106 million, sorry, 106 million.
But for the partnership that we.
This, the city and county,
The
that was
city
up
and
to
county,
18 million.
That's 18 million.
Yeah.
You know, so we learned to fill the gaps by removing barriers, investment. We learned why these investments were important, economic opportunity, because I am a true believer that the best social service programs that we can do here in Ramsey County is to give people jobs and a career pathway to more and better incomes. The incentives that we was able to leverage in doing this and to create a centralized system that's going to inform us how we can do this better in other areas within Ramsey County is going to be helpful. And we learned about best practices. And most importantly, we have the results of this work right here in front of us. So we want to say congratulations. Thank you, Tina. Thank everyone who invested in this process, who were visionaries. County Manager Becker, thank you for the vision. And this is something that we cannot just learn from this moment, but see how we can scale this over Ramsey County in all areas of the work that we do so that we can reap some good rewards. So I just want to thank everyone for your work here, county commissioners, and everyone before we leave and go to lunch in our next committee. Can we take a picture with the participants?
You read my mind.
Oh, I really didn't. Thank you.
Maybe against that wall is better, right there.
Yeah. I know it, usually I'm the one like, get a picture.
That's what I done.
I'm glad, like when other people.